everybody. Thank you for coming down tonight like a Haitian hotel offering new weekend invasion packages. This is later. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Greg Kinnear. You're not going to believe this, but I kid you not. Before the show, I ate bad fish. Ew. You're telling me. We're going to get through all this anyway. We've got a couple of bits and pieces of the news you may have missed. Former Vice President Dan Quayle was in San Francisco talking about family values today. He's apparently testing the waters for a 1996 run for the president. A little plus and minus there, right? At any rate, take a look. Here now is Mr. Quayle up there in San Fran.
One of the most popular books this year is the book Bill Bennett wrote, The Book of Virtues. Record sales underscore our thirst for truth, morality, and virtue.
Thank you, Father Quayle. Those comments. Actually, another popular book was Dan Quayle's Standing Firm, which underscores our thirst for foul-ups, bloops, and blunders. So that's... Just tear that up for me. Come on, tear that up. Rip it to pieces. Shreds. I want it gone. Although I did hear his favorite book is still Where's Waldo. So, said it all. Alex Kinnear, or I believe it's Kinnear, right? Kinnear, as if you have any idea, Dave. Alex Kinnear is a gourmet chef and owner of several restaurants in Atlanta, Georgia. There's nothing unusual about that fact, except the fact that her restaurants serve up delicious bugs.
The crickets died a peaceful, cold death. We froze them at low temperature, definitely freezing temperature this morning, and then we put them in the oven at about 450 degrees to give them a quick death, okay? Because we're going to dip them in chocolate, and we didn't want them moving.
Yeah, but when they do move, you get a cute little chocolate trail that you can follow right to the cricket graveyard. There you have a couple of delicious, yummy bugs now. I believe, I don't know if this is true, I've heard that Alex gets most of her recipes from the new and improved Raid cookbook, which is just filled with delightful delicacies. The candidates for the Virginia Senate seat had a big day on Tuesday. They had an all-in-all-out debate. Former Governor Douglas Wilder accused Senator Chuck Robb of associating with convicted drug users. Well, this infuriated the man. Here's Chuck now replying.
Let me make it very clear. I have never in my life seen or been in the company of or been with anyone that I believed or had reason to believe was using drugs, period.
Wow. You'd think that a Democratic senator would have met President Clinton at least once. Frame it. Finally tonight, Geraldo Rivera was the moderator at the Minority Journalist Conference in Atlanta recently. We caught some of those proceedings on C-SPAN last week. Here now, Geraldo. Here he is commenting on his image now.
Those in the mainstream who only hear the perception or only hear the stereotype of what Geraldo is. The prime target of Johnny Carson and his monologue for his many years until his retirement, and then he bequeathed me to Jay Leno.
Ooh, I thought Johnny liked Jay. That's a horrible thing to do there. You know what is odd? That doesn't sound like the bequeathment of Johnny Carson. We actually keep his bequeathment over here. John, do we have that by any chance? Yes, thank you, right over here. Yeah, here it is. His words exactly. True story. I bequeath Ed McMahon to Star Search. I bequeath Doc Severinsen to Atlantic City. And I bequeath Geraldo Rivera's sex life to the Centers for Disease Control. Burn that one, too. Listen, we got a good show for you folks tonight. Before we bring out our first guest here, I spent my last weekend cleaning out my garage. Whenever fall comes around, you know it's here. The leaves start falling from the trees, and the rain and cold air starts taking place up in the east, and the kids are off buying books and guns for school. In case you'll be cleaning out your garage, here's just a couple of tips. Please, please be careful, people.
It's that time of year again. Time for some helpful garage cleaning tips. A messy garage can be dangerous, so be careful of any tools that may be lying around, like a rake, for instance. When cleaning the workbench, make sure all of your tools are working properly, like the staple gun. Automatic garage doors are a nice convenience, but don't drop that remote. Wipe down every power tool with extra care. And when working around, say a 12-inch titanium steel buzzsaw, make sure it's not plugged in.
Honey, where does the family guillotine go?
On the shelf.
Guillotines can be lots of fun, but sometimes they can surprise you. Don't ever lose your temper at the mess around you.
Honey, call 911 again. Don't forget the Meister bell, honey.
And by all means, be careful of the garden hose.
Oh!
Happy cleaning.
So please, this fall, you be careful out there. We're going to do a quick break. We'll be right back with Michael Moore after these words. You're watching later. Okay. Careful when cleaning out your garage. Before we bring Michael out here, actually, this is kind of funny. While we were shooting that bit a couple of weeks ago, our happy-go-lucky director told me, Greg, you'll be fine, as I'm wearing that complete body cast. Put your foot in the hose. The car will drive about 30 miles an hour. The hose will just kind of fall gracefully off your ankle, and we'll do a pickup on it. Well, watch this. Play the footage. As we were taping this, this is the... honey. This is the... Yeah. Keep waving. Keep waving. Whoa! Whoa! So, you see...
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Hope you got it.
They look very concerned, don't they? Yeah. My guest and I came to fame with his comedy documentary, Roger and Me. He's also had a hit news magazine show this summer on NBC called TV Nation, a very good show. He has a new film coming out called Canadian Bacon, not to be confused with my little art film, Mexican Spam. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Moore. I want you to be careful cleaning out your garage this fall, too, huh?
How do you get away with some of the stuff on this show? Where are the standards and practices people at NBC?
What do you mean? We have a little violence on the show?
I've seen Uzis on this show. Now the bow and arrow thing. I mean, you know, we were on at 8 o'clock. You know, we had all these rules we had to follow.
We have a little violence on the program every now and then. That's true.
There is a lot of violence on this. This is like the natural-born killers of network television.
You know, I can bust a chair over your head if you want.
Yes, yes.
Let's see. You always got one of these baseball caps on, I've noticed. What is the? Why is that?
I've always worn them just since I was a kid, and now I don't. And I have all my hair. Mm-hmm, you know,
like, it's a good-looking dude too.
Yeah,
look at a shot of that, Morris. Why the hell you want to cover that up? I noticed though. I've noticed you've never worn a Later with Greg Kinnear cap.
No, I would love one of those caps because I got a feeling they're going to be a collector's item.
Mike, come here for a second. Come here.
No.
Come here.
Do I get this?
One of these?
Yeah, can I have it?
No, you can't. There you go, Mike. That's for the comment. No, here you go. Put on a.
No, I mean that. I think that you're going to be. You're going to be.
Wow. Yeah. A collector's item. You mean it in a good way, right?
Yeah, I mean that. I think America wants to see you.
Don't try and dig yourself out of it,
No,
Mike.
no.
While you were in high school, is this true that you actually became one of the youngest elected officials in our great nation?
That's a true story. Right. When I was 18, I was in my last month of being a senior in high school, and I ran for the school board. They just passed the constitutional amendment to give 18-year-olds the right to vote, so I thought I'd run. And,
so you're still in school at this point?
I'm still in school, and I'm having a hard time with the principal and the assistant principal. And I see in the paper one day that 18-year-olds can run now. I thought, well, why don't I run for office and get these guys fired? And
oh, they must have dreaded you.
Yeah, and I got them fired within the year. And it was like every student's dream, you know.
If you want to see, actually, here we go, folks. Here's the little hellion now. This guy looks pretty happy to have you there, huh?
Look at these. You have to look at just how unhappy
each of these people are.
Oh, and not to mention the ex-principal.
Yeah, and the caption below says, the superintendent, Mr. Robert Ample, and the Davison Board of Education faced many decisions this year as conflicts resulted in the attempted recall of board member Michael Moore.
That's right, yeah. It was rough.
Did you, were the yelling matches or screaming bouts, fighting?
No, after my success in getting rid of the principal and assistant principal, they started holding secret meetings behind my back. And I found out about it, and I called the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor filed criminal charges against the school board. So then they got upset, and then they started a recall campaign to get me off the board, which I won. And so I stayed on a couple more years.
You're trouble, mister. I guess back, and that was obviously in high school, and then the 80s became the whole Flint, Michigan thing, and you had a major problem with the GM plant there, and that led to Roger and me.
Right, yeah.
What was your contention with General Motors?
Well, they had laid off about 30,000 people in Flint, which is a fairly small city, so 30,000 jobs, that's a lot of jobs. And I thought, I should try and get Roger Smith, the chairman of General Motors, to try and come to Flint and meet some of the people he'd, fired. And so that began my 2-year quest to get him to do that.
Was it a nasty run-in with him?
No, I never got to meet him until just at the end of when we were making the film. I squeezed my way up through his bodyguards. And they saw me coming, and they grabbed me.
That was the end of that.
And that was the end of that, and that was as close as I got to him.
Any companies here in the 90s that you actually applaud, that you think are doing good work, good jobs?
I think that, well, I'm sure there are a number of companies that that have a commitment not to lay people off or to try and find ways to make things work. I mean, it always seems to be the American way is the easy thing to do is let's just get rid of the people. Instead of, hey, why don't we try and figure out how to make the product better so people will buy it, so people will stay employed. But that never seems to be the way it goes.
Right. And now with the NAFTA thing, a lot of people are wondering if that is going to be the result of NAFTA.
Well, I think NAFTA is a horrible thing, and it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of jobs here in this country. And it's all done. I mean, people have been sold a bunch of lies about this NAFTA, and it's like it's going to be good and there's going to be all this equal trade, but there's not a level playing field. There's no way American workers can compete with Mexican workers who are working for 80 cents an hour under terrible working conditions.
That is a fairly tough thing to compete with.
Right, and if you make it easy for American companies to go do that, I mean, what a company like General Motors or General Electric or whatever, what are they going to do if the choice is between $12 an hour or 80 cents an hour? They're going to go where they can make the biggest buck. But that's not what's good for our society. Right. Nobody ever asks the question, what's best, what's the moral thing to do? The moral thing is to keep people employed, because if people have jobs, you have less social problems, less crime, and all those things, which we want.
Sure enough. I want to talk about TV Nation, your news show. We're going to do a quick break. We'll be right back with Michael Moore.
I'm introducing a resolution declaring August 16, 1994 as TV Nation Day. The resolution, which I hope my colleagues will support, will praise TV Nation for creating new jobs in this country and improving our balance of trade.
So that's what those guys are doing in the nation's capital, huh?
Right. Well, you know, they had a lot of free time on their hands. All they had was health care and jobs and crime to take care of.
You know, Al Gore's pushing this later with Greg Kinnear thing.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I'll tell you, all we did was we paid a lobbyist $5,000 and we said, get us a law passed. And
you're kidding? Is that how you got this?
Yeah, we hired a lobbyist, and so he went and knocked on doors, and he actually got this bill, House Resolution 365, introduced, declaring August 16th TV Nation Day. So then we said,
congratulations, by the way. I had no idea.
We're gonna next year we want him to go for a 50% tax break, just for those who work on our show.
And with the right kind of money, it'll work. Well, that's from your show, TV Nation, that is on here on NBC. What's the status of the show right now?
Well, we're waiting to hear from the people upstairs here somewhere.
I understand you even have dined with Warren Littlefield.
Yes, that's true.
So now, what exactly do you say? Do you talk to him? How does this work? Is it I mean, with us, they just cancel us when they're done. But
yeah. I think they're very happy with how it turned out, and now it's a matter of where do you put us?
Right.
Because we were on opposite Rescue 911 and Full House, which I never.
We're opposite the I think GLH Hair Club for Men infomercial, so I know it's your.
So you kick ass every night, But we're up against Rescue 911, and you've got all these people watching the show with the belief that if they dial 911, help will arrive, And nobody ever dies on that show.
Yeah.
Everyone lives.
Everyone's fine. What are some of the things you've done on TV Nation? That stand out?
Well, we went down to Mexico to see how NAFTA was going to work, so we fired everybody on our show and moved it down there and hired Mexican cameramen for 80 cents an hour, and showed big companies how this is how you can do it.
Yeah. You may not want to say that around these guys. They'll start putting you out of focus here.
There's an obscene gesture being made. Where's standards and practices? And we went to Kuwait to see how the democracy is doing there, that we helped to, liberate the free Kuwait.
What did you find?
We found not much freedom or democracy there, and in fact, one of the crown princes came to my hotel actually he sent his security guards there wanting our tapes. After we did the interview with him. I made the mistake of asking him, when Hollywood does the movie on the war in Kuwait, who do you want to play you? And
did he understand what you were talking?
Oh, yeah. And the very first thing he said Charles Bronson. And I think sometime shortly after we left, he thought, I don't think I like this guy, and so we got out of Kuwait with our tapes.
Oh my! Well, this I guess has demonstrated. Is TV Nation been like Roger and Me in that it's had somewhat of an anti-corporate attitude? Would you say?
Yeah. No, I would say that's our basic attitude. Anti-corporate, anti-politicians.
Hard to get advertisers.
No, that's the wonderful thing about our economic system is that if they believe they can make money off you, it doesn't really matter what you say. It's the old saying that they'll sell you the rope to hang themselves with, and we're sponsored by Arid Extra Dry and the Quicker Picker Upper paper towel people. So,
God bless them. We'll do a quick break. Be right back with Michael Moore.
We're here at Walker Berge Ford on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles, and I'm here with Jim and Kurt and Gordon. This is the dealership where OJ bought his white Ford Bronco. Guys, you know, when you were watching TV that night and suddenly you saw OJ and the white Ford Bronco going down the freeway, what'd you think?
Ford sales are going up.
And what happened?
They did.
By how much?
About 30%.
They call me Jimmy, living on the street.
It's a look. I like that. My guest Monday night is Mary Lou Henner. Tune in for that show. Last night, Sandra Bernhard was on the show. And
you know, she's from Flint.
She writes you
she
a
was born
letter.
in Flint.
So same town, right?
Same town.
Well,
I mean, what are the chances you'd have two people from Flint on that?
Then maybe this will make sense to you. Dear Michael, will you meet me at Koopy Burgers for a Koopy Burger Koopy Burger and Vernon's and Cream? What is Koopy Burgers?
Sounds like a date.
Sounds like
Is she
one to me.
available? I thought
think
Madonna
so.
had her.
You're in!